Hello and good evening. Welcome to Financially Flourishing in a Time of a Crisis. I'm so glad that you're able to join me. And today we're going to be going through what we can be doing and what we should really stop doing right now in this crisis so that we can all financially flourish, right? And don't we all want that? So I'm going to share my slides with you right now and hope we will all get blessed from this class. So as I said, this is financially flourishing during a crisis. Right now, we're experiencing a pandemic. We're experiencing the COVID-19 pandemic, as they call it. And so this class is going to help you make more financially sound decisions that will help you come out the other side of this pandemic more financially robust. So what we're going to cover today is who this is for, what not to do in a crisis, and what we should be doing in a crisis. And then I'll talk a little bit about how I can help. So who this is for? This is for anyone who's financially affected by COVID-19 and anyone looking to make the most out of this situation as well. And maybe you're self-employed or you're an employee, and it doesn't really matter what you do, but you can make the most out of this situation. So a little bit about who I am. I'm Elizabeth Buchel, and I'm a certified financial mentor for women. I help women improve their relationships with money and increase their income streams and start building wealth while honoring God. That's a little bit about who I am. And let's start with what not to do in a crisis, in any crisis, especially this particular one. So what are some of the things that we shouldn't be doing in this crisis? First is not to panic. Yeah, we shouldn't panic. We shouldn't be panicking. We shouldn't panic buy or panic sell, and especially panic nothing, So I'll explain that in a little bit more detail. We shouldn't panic buy. So many people are panic buying groceries and panic buying toilet paper, and there's no need for that. And we shouldn't panic sell. Many people are panic selling. We're selling. You can see what's happening in the stock market is based on panic. And that's why the stock market is crashing. And you see, when we panic, just a little few of us, when few of us panic, it affects the whole, it affects everyone else, right? And that's why we shouldn't be panicking, because as people are panic buying toilet paper now, some people don't have enough. People panic buy pasta and there's not enough, and then people panic sell their stocks and their shares, and now the market is crashing, and that has an effect on everyone in the economy. So we shouldn't panic anything. And the worst type of panic is panic nothing. So you're panicking, sitting down in your home while doing nothing, just thinking and thinking over the same panicking thoughts. And that's the worst thing, because it's just going to drive you crazy and you'll be in a worse place emotionally. So definitely don't do that. Don't panic and don't worry. Don't spend your time regretting past money decisions or fill yourself up with so much worry and anxiety because of the unknown future, because you don't know what's going to happen next. The point of our lives is so much greater than our balance in our bank accounts and how successful or not successful that we are. Our life purpose goes way beyond the 70 to 100 year lifespan that most of us have, or maybe more than 100, maybe 150 years, yeah? Maybe some of us are going to live to 150, but our lives is so much more than 150 years on this earth, right? And from this place, if you can get to this place of knowing that your worth, my worth, is so much more than numbers and anything man-made, than possessions, than stock market drops or losing property or any kind of loss, or even loss of freedom or friendship of jobs. When we can get to this place of knowing that our worth is so much more than that, then we can, and that being financially wealthy is not the most important thing, then you can have full confidence. Like I have full confidence now because of this knowing that my life is so much more. I have full confidence that I can continue to go out and live my best life and fulfill my purpose and maximize my potential, because I know my life is so much more than what I have or what I do, and what I have in terms of money, or don't have in terms of money, right? So like I'll continue to show up and I'll continue to be my best self, and I will continue to expect the best of everything that life has to offer, irrespective of what's going on in the world, because the world events will not change the foundation of my faith. Now, anxiety sips in because most of us are feeling, to an extent, out of control in some area of our lives. You know, for example, we've lost our freedom to an extent, right? We can't move around and socialize the way we used to. But by taking the focus off what we can control and putting it on what we can control, then we begin to regain a lot more peace of mind, and this anxiety begins to dissipate, right? So we are actually in 100% control over our thoughts. You are in control of your thoughts, 100%. And what you feed your mind, including positive and negative anxiety inducing information and news, right? You're also in full control of your environment, how you live, right? The things around you. You're in full control of ensuring that your space is clean and tidy, right? And when you have a decluttered environment, you tend to be able to think more clearly, and you're able to be in a position where you can actually declutter your mind as well, and declutter all the thoughts that are not helping you to remain to be more productive even in this period, and all the thoughts that are causing you to act small. So one thing that happens when people feel out of control in certain areas is that they generalize and they feel like they're out of control in every area of their life. So they give up control or in the other areas in which they should be taking control over. And they allow people to tell them what to think. They allow people to tell them how to act. And they allow people to tell them whether they should be peaceful or calm. If you allow, and these are things that are all in your control. You decide how you should think and how you should feel, how you should react, even in this pandemic. And it's okay not to panic. Even though everyone is panicking, you don't have to follow the crowd. You can decide for yourself that I'm going to be calm. And the actions you take from a calm place may still be the same actions you would have taken if you were panicking, but you have the reduced blood pressure and less stress. So you're putting yourself in a better position not to invite disease into your body, right? So I'm full of optimism about this period. And the reason that I'm like fully optimistic is and not fearful isn't because I'm financially flourishing, but it's because I have my faith like solidly rooted in the most important thing, and it's not money, right? I do love talking about money, but my faith is not in money. So therefore, when the stock market is shaking, when I'm losing money in my stocks or in my investments, it's not going to shake me, and it's not going to make me feel like, oh, I can't breathe. And when jobs are being lost, it's not going to shake me, because being shaken doesn't change the fact that you have to still take action, right? Being panicked and scared doesn't change the fact that you have to take action still. So, as I was saying, the reason I'm full of optimism and not fear is not because that I'm financially flourishing, but because I have my faith in the most important thing. And this makes me flourish in all areas, including financially. because my faith is not in the money. So another thing that we shouldn't be doing is stealing from our future. So here are more practical steps. We shouldn't be stealing up from our future. You have long-term investments that you've put aside for your pension or for your retirement. Yes, governments have made allowances for you to take some money out, but don't steal from your future. You knew when you were putting your money aside in long-term investments that possibility of the stock market dropping and rising and dropping was there. And this happens all the time. So don't steal from your future for now. Try and ride it out. Another thing we shouldn't be doing is traveling. So the money we would have spent on traveling, we can start saving that. And usually that's a good, hundred to thousands of pounds, right? That we'll spend to travel this summer with our families. Next thing, don't try to get rich quick. Don't try it. That's just a recipe to fall for scams, right? Okay, now let's move on to things that we should be doing. Oh, one more thing. Don't stop essential life, home, car insurance payments, because insurance is there for when unexpected things happen. So if you can, keep up your payments on your essential life insurance, home insurance, car insurance, unless you can answer the question, what would I do if something should happen to me? What would my family do if something should happen to me? If you've made financial provision for that, then by all means. But saving a few £100s on your life, home, car, or any essential insurance that you have a month in order to is you have to weigh the pros and cons of saving just a few £100, and if something should happen and you have to cough out like hundreds or tens of thousands of pounds in order to fix what could go wrong. So just weigh the pros and cons about that for your situation and your family, and make a decision from that point of view. But don't just cut it out without thinking about it. So 5 things that we should be doing in a crisis. 1, spending consciously. 2 is to get credit smart. 3 is to ramp up our savings. 4, get government assistance. And 5, seek opportunities to invest. So we'll go through this one by one. First thing is to spend consciously. Now, one thing I would say is one of the things about money is that it's meant to be circulated, right? So you get money in and it goes out, you get money in and it goes out. Yes, we all understand that money is going to be spent, but how we spend it is up to us. So you can choose how you want to spend your money. You can decide to spend it on areas that will bring back investments and areas that will bring back, a return on your investment, or you spend your money on costs and things that you've spent once and and it's gone. You just have the memories and you have memories to keep you warm. So one thing that you can be spending more on is preparing for the future. After the pandemic is over and we are able to work again, what's going to happen next? Is your employers going to be making cuts? Is your job going to be safe? I don't know. But what you can be doing now is upskilling yourself, investing in yourself to increase your skills so that you are in a better position to show your value to your employer. And even if you are self-employed, you can still upskill yourself so that you're in a better position to make more money, because you've positioned yourself in that way. Another thing you can be doing to spend consciously is cutting unnecessary subscriptions. Right now, most gyms and cinemas have stopped. You're not going to be spending on those things right now. So most of them have paused your subscriptions. But if you have any other event, any other subscription that hasn't been paused, you can communicate with the service provider and see how you can pause your subscriptions or terminate it if it's not really essential. Another thing going on right now is the drop in oil prices. So oil prices right now are at an all-time low in the last 17 years, right? It's the lowest it's been in 17 years. So, and that is reflecting on, you can see that in the petrol stations, and it's also reflecting in our energy bills. So if you are at the point where you can switch energy providers right now, it is a great time to do so, because you could be buying yourself a really good deal than staying with your current provider. So look out for that. Another thing we should do when we are stressed, we tend to go over, right? Over with regards to eating or shopping. So we should just watch out for those things. Watch out for those things with regards to shopping online and grocery shopping, right? So if you notice your grocery shopping bill is excessively more than you would normally spend, well, you're eating 3 times a day at home, but still, if it's excessively more and you notice you're buying way more salt and sugar goods than you would normally, then ask yourself why. Because stress, even when you don't realize that you're stressed, just being in this situation where we're all quarantined is a new situation, and the body finds ways to cope, and sometimes it craves sugar and salt in order to do this. So just look into that and ask yourself, if you're shopping excessively online when you have nowhere to go, and if you're craving salt and sugar more than you usually do, and carbs maybe more than you usually do, ask yourself what it is I'm missing. And if you find that what you really would like is more connection, then try and go out on video calls with your friends and family members. If what you would like is what you're missing is an opportunity to maybe share, teach, or use your brain, or actually think about, like, be productive, then learn something new. Learn a new course online. There are loads of courses online that are free. Yale and Harvard are doing a lot of free courses that people can start learning now. If you're lacking maybe mental stimulation, if that's what is causing you to buffer in this way. Yes. So attack the root cause, because online spending and excess food shopping and for you to is just a temporary solution, and it wouldn't last. So you have to keep doing it over and over again, and it doesn't really help you. It doesn't improve you in any way. So try and figure out what the root cause is. Next thing is to get credit smart. With regards to getting credit smart, you can pay right now minimums on your credit cards if you cannot afford to pay more. Credit cards and loans can be paid at minimums. Contact them as well and see if you can get a payment holiday. Right, as that last week, the government has said that all credit and loan providers should be giving payment holidays to everyone. But I think you do have to contact them and request this for yourself. Next, all banks have been directed to give interest-free overdrafts up to £500. So if you have an overdraft that is up to £500, it should be interest-free. So so you can use that to just help tide you along if you do need this help, right? If you're low on cash, definitely use your credit card more than you would spend the spare cash that you have, but also be wise. Don't spend it on things you don't need. This is just essential goods only. Speak to your credit and mortgage providers and take advantage of low interest rates right now. That's something that you can do. And then, as I said before, there's payment holidays up to 3 months offered on all debt. Government has insisted that everyone should be offering this to their clients. So you should request it, right? And any amount that you were going to pay in excess, you can start saving that in your savings account. So next thing that the third thing that we should be doing in a crisis is ramp up your savings. So now we are not traveling anywhere, right? We're not traveling on holiday, we're not traveling on the train, we're not buying petrol, except to go to the shops maybe if it's not walking distance. And we're not going to see friends and family members. So all the money you would have been spending in all this in your summer holiday, on lunch money, on even your fun lifestyle costs like going to the spa, getting your hair done, going to the gym, the cinema, watching BT Sports. No, there's no football on TV anymore, right? All these things are opportunities to save money. And when I say save money, I don't mean just leave it in your current account. I mean that you should actually actively put that money into your savings. So you're actually living life as usual, but your savings is growing because you're not living life as usual, but you're spending as usual. But instead of spending it on those things that you can't spend it on anymore, you're spending it in your savings. You're paying yourself, right? You're paying your future self. That is the best type of person to pay you. Honestly, you're paying yourself. So other things that you can save on are if you usually spend money eating out in restaurants, maybe for birthdays, parties, definitely put that money aside. If you would have been buying gifts for people during the season, for Easter, for Christmas, and you're not, you would have been buying gifts for friends and family members, put that money aside because you're not seeing them anytime soon. Also, kids' school trips and activities, that's a big one. That's a big one. If your kids are planning any school trips or activities this term, which is now being cancelled, take that money and still put it in your savings, okay? And every overpayment that you would have been making on debt. By the time you go through this, I bet you can find at least £100 that you could have been putting in your savings. And now I'm being conservative. I'm really hoping that you find a lot more than that to ramp up your savings, right? Now, next thing is, and this is number 4, get government assistance. If you're eligible, please get assistance. So right now, government is offering assistance to the self-employed people and employees. And there are so many ways that we can do that. And also, even if you used to claim free school meals, you can still get a food parcel of £15 a week in supermarket vouchers instead. So look at how to get all that. Because if it's free money, get it. So a bit more about the self-employed benefits right now that government have put in place. Right now, if you're self-employed, you cannot get statutory sick pay. You can't. But you might be able to get universal credits. So look into that, right? Then also, self-employment income support scheme. The government have put together this income support scheme for this pandemic. And it's releasing grants that are worth up to 80% of your profits, not losses, mind you, so be careful about that. So 80% of your profits, and these are based on your profits over the last 3 years. So if you've been making profit or any profit you've made, they will pay you 80%. But this will be capped at $2,500 per month. One thing to note is that if your business has been making losses, then you may not be eligible. Also, you must have been self-employed prior to April 2019. If you just became self-employed, then I'm sorry, you might not be eligible, unfortunately. Secondly, it's taxable, right? It's taxable, so bear that in mind as well. So the 2,500 you will get, but it is taxable. Then next thing is that you must be earning at least more than 50% of your total income from self-employment to get to be qualified to get this grant as well. And your trading profit must be less than £50,000 a year. But if you fit the bill and you tick all the boxes, you are eligible to get this free money and without any repayment whatsoever. And they start paying out by June, but it will also be backdated to March. And the best part is that you can still keep working and you do not need to prove that you've been impacted by COVID-19 to benefit. And the HMRC will contact you directly if you are eligible. So just sit down, relax, and get your free money. Great. Now, if you are employed, you are entitled to statutory sick pay. So that's great. You can also take your annual leave or request unpaid parental leave if you do need to support your kids and you can't work and support your kids at the same time. Then you're also entitled to flexible working. Now, by now, everyone is working from home, but you're also entitled to maybe reducing your hours if you can't do full, whatever your full hours are. You can't do that while taking care of your kids or having them at home with you. You're also able to ask for reduced hours. Next thing is that you can carry over any unused annual leave for up to 2 years, right? So that's really great. And then you can claim back on any extra home costs that it costs you to work from home. For example, if you use more electricity or you use more heating now that you're at home, you can claim all this back. And you can do this via your self-assessment form or a P87 form. So you can check and see how you can make use of all of this. Then the last bit is the coronavirus job retention scheme that the government has put in place for employees. And the state will pay 80% of your pre-tax salary as of the 20th of February. So whatever your salary was on that date, it will pay 80%. But it is also capped at $2,500 a month, and it is also taxable. Now, staff who can't work can go on furlough, and furlough simply means on hold. So your job is on hold just during this period. The government will cover their salary, government will cover your salary, but your employer can choose to top up the government grant if it's less than your if it's less than your salary. And the government will transfer the money, which will include your wages, compulsory commission, your overtime, what it should be, it will be paid to your employers, and your employers will transfer it to you. Now, yes, it is taxable, and you still have to pay your national insurance contribution. But if you do find another job and you want to keep working so you can make more money, if your contract with your current employer allows it, you can still do that. And another thing is that if you just quit your job just before this coronavirus and you were about to start a new job but you can't, you can get your old employers to rehire you and furlough you. So that's something that you can do if you are in that in between space, right? So the fifth thing to do, and we're back at number 5, is seek opportunities to invest, right? In times of great crisis, there's always great opportunities. In times of famine, many people are building wealth. In times of recession, businesses are starting and people are making and building wealth for themselves, for their family, and for their children's children. So it's nothing that you cannot do. Also, ways to start doing this, you can look into investing in the stock market. Right now, the stock market is on sale, so it's a great time to start investing if that's what you want to do. And then you can also start your own business. If you see a need, or you've always had a burden in your heart for to run a particular business, now is the time to start planning it and putting things in place so that when the virus is lifted, you can actually hit the ground running. Also, you could also see if, right now parents are home, children are home. We are looking for ways to entertain our children. We're looking for ways to ensure that they are learning and they are also, they are still being nurtured in the way that we want them to. So if you are able to provide a need to parents and children who are families who are at home right now in any situation, that you can think of, then that might also be a business that you can start right now and to provide support to people as well. So foresee and feel a need. And that's it. So the 5 things that we should be doing in a crisis, especially this one, is one, to spend consciously. Think about where you're putting your money and what return you're going to get on it. If you're investing in yourself to make yourself better, or if you're spending on costs, right? So reduce expenses on things you don't need and spend more on things that will bring a return for you going forward, especially after this epidemic, after this pandemic. Second thing is to get credit smart in how to use your credit cards, and if you do need to use them, and how to access credit if you do need to, including payment holidays if you need them, only if you need them. If you don't really need to take a payment holiday if you can afford to continue with your payments. Third thing is to ramp up your savings. So important that you ramp up your savings while, as well, so that you have money to spend on the essentials, on taking care of your family, your home, and ensuring that you still have the roof and food to take care of yourselves during this pandemic. And then the fourth thing is to get government assistance. Now, most people will be eligible, not everyone, but most people will be. So if you are eligible to get government assistance in terms of the job retention scheme or the self-employment support scheme, or universal credit, or the free school meals, e-supermarket vouchers, then, and even the housing benefits there are so many ways that you can actually get government support right now if you do need it. Fifth thing is to seek opportunities to invest in yourself and invest for yourself. So, and those are the 5 main ways to do. If you do need help, you can check my website, elizabethcooper.com. And if you would like help in building up your finances, turning around your financial life, or starting a business, then you can check my website, click the link or copy the link, type out the link, and schedule a time to speak with me, and let's see how I can help you. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me on this call, in this class. I really appreciate you being here. Have a great day and continue to flourish abundantly in this season. Continue to be the best that you can be despite our circumstances. I wish you the best, and I hope to hear from you soon. If you have any questions, make sure you do reach out and send me an email. My email is elizabeth@wealthfromlittle.com. So thank you and goodbye.